Hello my friends, in today's video we will take a look at the Zhiyun Weebill 3S. 3S continues the original Weebill lineage consisting of Weebill Lab, Weebill S, Weebill 3 and now 3S. The design changes are a little bit less dramatic this time. 3S is mostly a refinement of already excellent Weebill 3 with the same goal, which is to combine lightweight and solid performance. In this video, we will take a look at the performance of the latest Weebill in combination with Sony A7IV and Panasonic S5 IIx, which will be very interesting. Weebill 3S weighs just 1054 grams and it fits on an A4 paper, which is a signature feature of the Weebill series. Much like the Weebill 3, it uses crane configuration with a vertical arm. The batteries are now stored in the handle, so there is no need for an additional compartment under the handle. Comfortable sling shooting is another signature feature of the Weebill series, and it is possible with Sling Mode 2.5 handle and wrist support system. It can be attached to the gimbal using a quick release mechanism. It is much more adjustable than the 2.0 version and in my opinion a lot easier to work with. I specifically appreciate the option to adjust the wrist rest with a screw, which is very convenient. Besides the sling mode, it also works great for double-handed use. There isn't an official maximal payload. Zhiyun issues a compatibility list including camera and lens combinations instead. I have tested it with Sony A7IV, Sigma 24-70mm f2.8 DGDN and magnetic variable ND filters. This combination weighs about 1.5 kilograms, but it is quite front heavy. This kind of setup is completely fine on Weebill 3S. I have mostly used it with lighter setups such as S5 IIx with 24mm f1.8 and that works completely fine as expected. The build quality is very solid. The arms are metal with plastic inserts and the rest of the construction is made of high quality plastics. I would say that it feels a bit more sturdy than the Weebill 3. The combo package comes in this interesting backpack. In the base package you will get the table tripod, Manfrotto plate, razor plate, lens support accessories, substantial amount of cables. Combo package adds the sling system and you will get that backpack instead of a foam case. Weebill 3S is pretty easy to balance, much like other Zhiyun gimbals. It has a locking mechanism on all axes, which is helpful for balancing and even more for transportation. Tilt and roll axes use levers instead of screws, which also makes the balancing faster, and the axes are very easy to move, so fine adjustments are very easy to do. A new feature in the Weebill series is an option to mount the camera vertically. It is very easy, you just need to switch the mounting base from horizontal orientation to vertical. Vertical filming is very popular nowadays, so I am pretty sure that this will be a very useful feature. Weebill 3S also has an auto-tune function, much like most modern gimbals, and it works very well. Only the pan axis has unlimited motion range, but that is the one that matters, so that is fine. It is a very acceptable price for using stronger motors, which usually don't allow unlimited motion range on tilt and roll axes. One of very few complaints that I have about this gimbal is the mounting mechanism. It uses Manfrotto style plates, which is fine, but there is no ARCA-compatible quick release system. Fortunately, there is an easy solution in the form of SmallRig 3061 quick release plate. It allows you to use any ARCA-compatible plate, including my favorite Big Design standard plates, and it even has safety pin for those. This is in my opinion an absolute must-have for any gimbal without a similar solution. Regarding the performance, I will say right away that it is great. Zhiyun has been fine-tuning the performance of their gimbals for a very long time. Weebill 3S uses the 10th generation of their control algorithm and you can certainly notice that. The motors are very strong and responsive considering the size of this gimbal. In my experience, it performs pretty much as well as full-size gimbals. A very important part of the performance for me personally are the parameter settings. Weebill 3S lets you adjust absolutely everything. If you take some time to find your ideal settings, it will behave exactly as you want it to. I have tested this gimbal with Sony A7IV and Panasonic S5 IIx. The in-body image stabilization in the A7IV works great on gimbals. It is very predictable and it can take care of smaller vibrations. I've been using it with an unreleased 16mm f1.8 lens and it worked great as expected. I've also tried it with Sigma 24-70mm f2.8, which is still completely fine for this gimbal. Despite that it is a very light gimbal, I haven't really had any issues with visible impacts during walking shots. Overall, the combination of the Weebill 3S and A7IV works great. Even more interesting is the performance with Panasonic S5 II or S5 IIx. The S5 II features a very interesting in-body image stabilization system which is optimized for walking. It can actually smooth out walking pretty well even by itself. When you combine it with Weebill 3S, it is a pure greatness. This combination basically makes everybody a ninja walking expert. You don't even have to try particularly hard. The S5 II IIx helps a lot with the vertical or Z-axis, so getting the flying camera effect with this combination is very easy. Despite that the in-body image stabilization is very strong, it is not trying to fix the image in place, so there are no sudden snaps or unexpected behavior. I'm also very happy with the joystick. The speed of all three axes can be adjusted separately and I was always able to get very smooth panning using the joystick. Overall, I am very happy with the performance of Weebill 3S in combination with A7IV and even more with S5 IIx. Needless to say, I am also very happy with the size to performance ratio, which has always been the main highlight of the Weebill series. Weebill 3S has a small 1-inch monochrome screen, which is not the most impressive gimbal display. You can still use it to set everything, including the follow speed, dead zone, joystick speed, run the auto-tuning, and so on. It is controlled by the wheel and the menu button on the right side of the gimbal, which is actually pretty convenient. I was able to change the settings pretty quickly after I got used to it. The ergonomy is mostly carried over from the previous version. The grip is a bit thicker, which is probably a positive change. The joystick and the two most important buttons are placed in the reach of your thumb, which means that you don't have to loosen the handle to reach it. The mode switch is very well placed and easy to operate. It lets you cycle through 3 base follow modes, and the double press lets you cycle through POV, Vortex, and Portrait mode. There is also a video recording button, a trigger button, and a controller wheel. I am very happy with the handling overall, although having a more modern screen from the Crane M3S would be nice. There are basically 7 follow modes on this gimbal. There is the pan follow, where the gimbal follows your movement in horizontal axis. Pan and tilt follow mode follows your horizontal movement and tilting of the gimbal. In the lock mode, it will just keep the camera pointed in one direction. In POV mode, it follows all axes, so panning, tilting, and rolling. Go mode is basically a sports mode where the gimbal follows movements faster. Of course, you can enter the selfie mode by triple pressing the trigger button, and you can reset the gimbal position by double pressing it. Weebill 3S has an integrated fill light that we already know from smaller Zhiyun gimbals and also from the Weebill 3. It is small but quite powerful at 1000 nits. It is also very soft, which is suitable for a fill light. You can change the brightness and color temperature using the dial on the right side. I think that it can be useful especially as a fill light, so it is a good idea in my opinion. A novelty in the Weebill line is Bluetooth remote shutter. It is extremely easy to set up and 100% reliable. I very much dislike remote control cables, so this is a great addition for me personally. You can still connect the camera to the gimbal using the cables if you wish to do so. Weebill 3S still uses the ZY Play app, which is very reliable. It offers very comprehensive parameter settings, it works great as a remote control, and I haven't had any issues with firmware updates. 3S uses a 2600 mAh integrated battery. That should give you about 10.5 hours of runtime. That is significantly less than 21 hours on Weebill 3, but still more than any human can withstand. Zhiyun was able to get rid of the battery compartment below the handle thanks to that, so it is worth it in my opinion. To sum up, 3S is a pleasant refinement of the Weebill series. It is smaller, lighter, and it performs a bit better. New features such as easy-to-use portrait mode and Bluetooth remote are worthy additions as well. Also worth mentioning is the new Sling system, which is easier to install and more comfortable to use. Other than that, it does the usual Weebill stuff very well, and that is mostly to provide excellent performance in a very compact and light package. Much like with the Weebill 3, I only have two complaints. The first one is that the mounting plate is not Arca compatible, but that can be solved using SmallRig 3061 quick release plate. My second complaint is that the display is quite old school, but it doesn't really affect the functionality. Overall, Zhiyun Weebill 3S is an excellent compact gimbal with outstanding size to performance ratio, which means that I can highly recommend it. So that's it for this video, thank you for watching, I hope that you liked this video and that you found it to be useful. Stay tuned for more videos and maybe consider subscribing if you don't want to miss my future content. I appreciate your feedback in form of thumbs up or thumbs down. If you would like to ask anything or share your opinion, please do so in the comment section, and see you next time.